Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today I want to introduce to you 3 excellent books I read within the last couple of months that are all part of the same subgenre of my favorite genre, which is murder mystery fiction. They are all written by Japanese authors, so today we're talking about Japanese murder mysteries. Now, to give you a bit of a background, of course with genres it's hard to talk about origins as such because genres develop over time, but in general it can be said that Japanese detective fiction became very popular in a time after the Second World War as Western detective fiction spread over the globe, including Japan. The founding father of the Japanese detective fiction genre is supposed to be Taro Hirai, who lived from 1884 until 1965. He played a major role in the development of the Japanese mystery fiction, as he put a focus on the rational process of solving the case instead of anything else. By doing so, he is believed to be the founding father of the honkaku school of murder mystery fiction. Now, honkaku can be roughly translated to orthodox or traditional, authentic, and this is the adjective that describes murder mystery fiction that is greatly inspired by the golden age of detective fiction from the 1920s and 30s. Books of this school feature similar patterns and puzzles as, for example, locked room mysteries, secluded houses, protagonists of like a higher standing, and so forth. Another very important feature of these honkaku murder mystery fiction novels is that they play fair. What that means is that they give the reader an actual chance of solving the puzzle themselves by giving them all the tools they could possibly need. What that means is that all the characters, including the murderer, get introduced within the first couple of chapters in the novels. There are no surprise reveals at the end, no nemesis, enemies, or anything of that kind pop up in like the last couple of chapters. No, these books play fair if, for example, the setup of a house or a room is important for solving the actual puzzle on murder. You even get like blueprints within those books. Often also like a character list is featured at the beginning of the book that you can use to recall how the singular characters are interrelated and so forth. In other words, you as a reader get all the information you could possibly need to at least try to solve the mystery yourself. Now, a representative of this honkaku style of writing detective fiction is the author of 2 of the books I want to introduce to you right now, and that is Seishi Yokomizo. He lived from 1902 until 1981 and wrote no less than 77 of these books, and only now they are beginning to be translated into English. The first one being the Honjin murders. This was originally published in 1946, but only now in 2019, I believe, the Pushkin Vertigo publishing company translated and published his first work. Short time after, the Inugami curse followed. This was originally published in 1951 and is now also available by the same publishing company in English, finally, right? Now, both of these novels are pretty much prototypes of this honkaku style of murder mystery fiction. Now, the Honjin Murders features a locked room mystery, as I just talked about them, because we have a double murder at a wedding and none other than the bride and groom themselves get killed, but they are found dead in a room that is locked from the inside. All windows, everything is locked. There's no possible way anyone could have gotten out of there, and yet both are dead. So what happened? That is the setup of our first novel. The second one, in the Inugami cast, I recently talked about this in my The Ultimate Knives Out book recommendation, because this is the ultimate Knives Out book recommendation. If you love the movie, you will love this book because it has a very similar setup. We have a filthy rich family and the head of the family dies, and none of the family members but like an outsider inherits the estate, the money, the business, etc. And then murders start happening and our detective protagonist is called onto the scene to figure out what's going on. Now, the same detective investigates in both these books. Now, I'm not sure if he's the one that investigates in all 77 of Yokomizo's novels, but I guess he is at least a protagonist in a majority of them. Now, moving on from these books though, In the 1980s, this honkaku school had a revival. This was called the Shin honkaku or New Honkaku School, which focused on, as I just said, a revival of these classical elements of detective fiction, but focused also on adding more self-reflective elements to the storyline. Now, a representative of this Shin honkaku school is Yukito Ayatsuji, who is the author of the third book I want to talk to you about today, and that is the Decagon House Murders. This was originally published in 1987, but has now, I think, in 2015 been translated and published by, again, the Pushkin Vertigo company. This is a modern and like Japanese take on Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. In other words, we have a secluded location, an island that no one can enter or leave, on which the inhabitants or the visitors start getting killed off one by one, and you kind of have to solve the mystery before all of them are dead. Good luck. Of course, for both the original honkaku and now the Shin honkaku school, there are many more representatives that you could look up and do some research yourself. By the way, I did research all of the things I just told you, but if I got anything wrong, if you have to add something, feel free to do so down below in the comments. I really enjoyed all three of these books, and I can highly recommend them to you. Now, if you have already read all three of them, fear not, because the third novel by Seishi Yokomizo will be published shortly, right on time for a Christmas rush. I think it's gonna be published on December 12th or something like that. I am for sure gonna get that for Christmas. I will have to use every single ounce of self-restraint I own to keep myself from reading it before Christmas, because I kind of want to read that in like between the years, as they say, in like the Christmas holiday. But yeah, I think it's called The Curse of the Eight Grays or something, and yeah, it's coming out shortly, and personally I'm really looking forward to it. But again, of course, there are many more authors who wrote detective fiction that can be attributed to either the honkaku or the Shin honkaku school. So if you find yourself liking this particular genre of the detective murder mystery genre, well, you got plenty to choose from. There's just one fair warning I feel like I should give. Keep in mind that especially the novels of the honkaku school, they were written some decades ago. In other words, social morals and prejudices are being featured in these books that we don't agree with anymore at all, such as homosexuality or female promiscuity being seen as scandalous. And so, of course, when you read that kind of rubs you the wrong way, reading it in our present time. But yeah, with books that have been published, written decades ago, you kind of have to read them in the context of their time, of course, to like at least understand them in that sense. Of course, it's still weird for us to read certain things in these books. It is not like heavily featured, but it is featured in some aspects. So I feel like I should talk about it. So if you're not okay with that, maybe you should rather pick up books from the Shin honkaku school, as they feature books written in the 1980s, so we get a bit more modern in our values and standards, I assume. But yeah, keep that in mind should that be an issue with you. It is a bit weird, but yeah, I guess that's something that we can try to overlook, as these books were simply written at a different era in a traditionally also more conservative country. Keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, that was it. Those were the 3 Japanese murder mysteries I wanted to talk to you about today. If you have some more recommendations, please give them to me down below in the comments. I hope that you can maybe use this Christmas present recommendation. Should you know someone who also loves these 2 books by Seishi Yokomizo, you can definitely get them this 3rd book that will be released soon. And with that, I thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye!